baby brother. He's got beautiful blue eyes. He's a USC school graduate. He's an entrepreneur, a filmmaker extraordinaire, heart of gold, creative, genius, every bunny.
I stand before you as a young man who has lost, since my graduation at USC, hundreds, literally hundreds of friends to the attrition of mediocrity. No one will work harder than I will to keep these people in the city, because my friends who have left this city, if it weren't for Facebook, they'd be as good as dead to me, and they're as good as dead in the city. We train wonderful students at Benedict and Allen, at USC, at Columbia College, and then we send them off. Why? There's a couple of reasons. Well, one thing I can promise you is that if I am elected as your mayor, I will begin on day one, the first step I take in my office, I will begin a continued, constant pressure on the state government to remove the Confederate battle flag from State House grounds. I will support the arts in this community. I will support individual artists. I will support small, young arts groups. I will provide services to artists that will enhance the participation of audiences, and I will provide services to artists so that they can begin to accrue business skills and networking and the sorts of things that will allow them to stay here so they won't have to leave and find work elsewhere. I've lost hundreds of friends to this, and I will not stand for it one day longer. Mr. Johnson. It's not a pretty picture. Stack of papers here. I'm on the promotions committee for City Council. There's a sister care in there, children's garden, a free health clinic, countless social programs that this city relies on. Good chance that all the city funding that goes to this is going to be cut, and I won't have to serve on that committee this year. It's coming up here. It's an ugly picture. It's been painted over decades by not only a dereliction in leadership, but also, we're culpable as well, because we haven't given it the due attention. We haven't had enough voters turn out. We're all to blame. Every single one of us. And because of that, and because we are in such desperate times, if I'm elected as your mayor, and even if I'm not, will continue to call, challenge, and demand from all of you that we all pull together. We'll have to come up with creative solutions, and I can't promise you we won't raise taxes, but I will fight tooth and nail to ensure that we maintain and build our capacity for our vital public safety programs, and do everything that I can to try to keep these programs running. And it might not mean that we can spend our way out of it. In fact, I can tell you we can't spend our way out of it, but what we can do is look for opportunities, leverage our resources, and communicate with one another, meet in forums like this throughout the year, not just whenever we're about to have a historic election, and dig our heels in, dig our claws in, and tackle the problem. There's a lot of questions I'd like to ask in this town. Mr. Morrison, in particular, I would like to ask you a question. In an interview with Judy Gadsden, you claimed that your favorite movie was Avatar. I would like for you to defend that statement and tell us, without spoiling the plot for anybody who may not have seen it, exactly what you love about that film, which I consider to be somewhat mediocre.
I just love really big green people. They were green in the sense that sparkle is green. They reminded me of Sparkle, in fact, which is why I love the movie so much. No, honestly, I don't remember telling her that.
She put us on the spot.
It must have been the only movie I could think of at the time. But I am impressed with the creativity of this young man right here. I mean, I am so impressed. The other night at a public forum, I offered to star in his next film if he would ask me to. I do need to see the script in advance. No, thank you very much for the question.
Well, Mr. Morrison, one point is that I saw the film without 3D glasses, and I do feel like that probably contributed to my enjoyment of the experience. I would also like to extend to you, all the candidates have the invitation, but you will have the first seat of honor on my television show after the election. professional capacity, I've worked a lot with Richmond School District 1 and Richmond School District 2. In fact, I've been in most of the schools in Richmond School District 1 to produce videos. I've been in every school in Richmond School District 2 to produce the videos that are on their website. In fact, all of the videos of Richmond School District 2, I made all of those videos. I've spoken to hundreds of teachers. I've interviewed them in depth. I have a very good understanding of the school districts. Richmond School District 2 is one of the greatest school districts in South Carolina and perhaps in the country. They're doing a lot of things right. One thing that they have is a parent choice program that allows parents to send their students to different schools that might have programs that would fit their children. I'd love to see something like that incorporated in Richmond 1, but of course I wouldn't have direct control over that. What I would like to see is a capacity for City Council to communicate more with the school district. And to that end, I'd like to see all of the principals get together, elect representatives to have a non-voting but participatory seat somewhere on City Council or in the meetings so that we can talk to people who run the schools, find out what they need on the ground. A lot of these programs we can't fund anymore directly that have done a lot of great things for children, but what we can do is stand up and have vigor and energy and leadership and, most importantly, a good ear to listen with. And that's how City Council can work with schools, work with leaders in the community, work with our wonderful nonprofits, and help to make our children have the best possible advantage for the future. This is the very reason that I decided to run for office. I've been described by some certain columnists as the Groucho Marx of this debate. I've made a few jokes, I've made a few people laugh, and I'm deadly serious about this. I loathe unethical behavior in politics. I have great contempt for any man or woman who would take your vote and your trust and your tax dollars, line their own pockets with it, apply their own business deals. That is anathema to democracy. It stands against everything I was raised to believe in and everything I have always cherished in my deepest heart. And I can only hope that you hear the sincerity in my voice as I tell you that I will fight and fight the political machinery that has invested itself in this city and that grinds away our freedoms. And I would demand that you all pay more attention. I don't care if I'm elected or not. I've learned enough about the things that are going on in this city that I will not stand for it. And I will continue to raise my voice. I might run for another 20 years like Mr. Azar. And against that darkness for decades. And we as a city have to decide before we can ask our leaders to lead us, before we can demand that there's change in government, we have to change ourselves. We have to pay more attention. We have to fill those ballot boxes, and we have to ask questions. This is the end of silence, and this is the end of tyranny in this city.